So today we're going to do a quick podcast about why property portals don't work in Spain. They used to a certain extent. They don't work anymore for you as a buyer. So what we're going to talk about are the things that Idealista, Fotocasa and Quiero won't tell you about buying in Valencia. So firstly, ghost and already sold listings. In a lot of cases, the properties no longer exist or never existed in the first place. So have you checked that the property is still actually on the market, not just a ghost listing left up to generate inquiries? Number two, photos are marketing, not evidence. So the idea is to get you to click and make an inquiry. So a lot of photos are digitally retouched. So the question is, have you seen unedited photos or video, including any street, any entrance, any ugly corners the listing skips, anything else? Have you seen a full information pack about that property? The third one, and this goes to the second one as well, is about AI renders and virtual staging. They tend to hide reality. So do you know which images are renders and what the property really looks like today before spending money on your flights or surveys or getting someone to go around and take a video? Because in a lot of cases, you've got a property which doesn't exist. You've got a property which doesn't exist as the photos present it because they're not photos. Renders are getting really good. Number four, you see the same flat and it's with many agents and it's at many prices. Have you checked if the same property appears multiple times under different agencies, photos and asking prices? Who's truly representing the seller in this case? Because what you find is that agents try to put themselves into the middle of a deal in order to get some money out of it. The fifth one, there's no MLS in Spain. So the multi-listing system of America and Canada means that you can go to any agent, you get access to any property. That isn't true in Spain. So do you have a plan to see beyond the handful of agencies you've contacted and access off-market or quiet sale opportunities? Because the agents you've contacted will only show you the properties they specifically have where they are representing the seller. And that's important because number six, both sides usually pay commission. In Valencia, typically, there's a 3% commission for the seller, there's a 3% commission for the buyer. That's how it works in Valencia. Who is actually earning the buyer side commission you're paying anyway? Well, if you're giving it to the selling agent, they're not representing your interests. There's let's call it a conflict of interest here. If you go to the selling agent, they're going, well, we're going to get 6% from this, but our job is to maximize the sale price. Number seven, legal baggage is hidden in the small print or not mentioned. So a selling agent who is trying to sell a property on behalf of the seller is not going to do the checks for you specifically. You'll need a lawyer to do that, of course, but equally, you can do that with a buyer's agent who's helping you along exactly finding the place that you want. Has someone checked for ocupas, that's squatters, unpaid community fees, debts, inheritance issues that could delay or block your purchase? Because if you come over, for example, on a 3-month visa, and then suddenly you find that a lot of that has been taken up, a lot of that time has been taken up by messing about because you can't buy the property you really like to buy currently under the current conditions and you're going to have to wait, you've got a little bit of a problem. Number 8, neighbors and noise are invisible online. So have you asked about the noise complaints, short-term rentals in the building, party flats and things, any upcoming community works, for example, like the lift, the facade, the roof, because they will cost, and they will cost you if you buy a place without knowing about it. Now, the truth is, in the majority of cases, even if there's work coming up, that will just make the place better, but you need to know about those costs. Number 9, micro-location matters more than the barrio label. So in the vast majority of listings on property portals, they don't give you the exact address. And the reason they don't do that is because they don't want other agents going around and trying to get the listing. So what happens is you say, yeah, this is in Ruzafa, but it's in a good street in Ruzafa, or is it in a really noisy street in Ruzafa? Have you walked the immediate streets at different times of day, checked for the sun exposure, whether it actually gets any sun, and looked at what might be built on that nice empty plot next door? Because you didn't know there was a nice empty plot next door and work starts next month. And finally, Going direct to the selling agent doesn't mean you're protected. You need somebody on your side, a buyer's agent and an independent lawyer, to challenge pricing, spot red flags, and tell you when to walk away. The number of times we tell people, no, that's no good, when they send us a listing, and then we explain why, and they go, oh, thanks, you've put my mind at rest there. And then they come over and we find them an excellent place, which has got everything what they want, with none of the downsides. So that's it. It's a very short podcast today. It's all based on one of the articles we put on the blog. You can go to the blog, which is valencia-property/new, and find loads more articles about everything. But this is just a very quick podcast today because we wanted to make sure that you know that the property portals are really useful for getting an idea of the market. They're not very useful for you as a buyer of property because you've been fed into the seller's market.